You have a son, a daughter, a brother, a sister, God forbid, some parents, any family member or person you love struggling with addiction, well, this video is for you. I deal with multiple clients a week, particularly around addiction and only around addiction. I mean, fair play to them for reaching out on their behalf. I think it's very commendable and respectful. Well done for you to watching this video as well. And in this video, I'm going to try to help you figure out what's the best plan, because they always ask, what should I do? So the first thing you can do, if you're reaching out for someone to me to get help for someone that you love, is maybe understand the context or how bad the situation is, because this information helps me help the loved one that you want. So they're probably going to lie to you. That's the God honest truth, because addicts lie all of the time. That's very normal. But how frequently are they using? How much are they using? What are they using? This is not like, you're attacking them type of conversation. This is a genuine understanding and getting help context situation. Again, they're probably still going to lie to you, but then also figuring out how long these types of things are going on for. So the first section is honestly understanding to the best of your ability what the context, what the situation is. You might not know why. Maybe that's not your job to know why, but how much, what is the current situation? Number two, I hear this a lot, unfortunately. It's basically where you could get upset with them and then the conversation just declines completely drastically. So don't turn every conversation into an argument. And that takes a lot of skill from you as a loved one of this person struggling with addiction. The addict will try always save their addiction and lie and get through with their thing. They think this thing is helping them on an unconscious level. So when you have a conversation with them, if you have a little bit of upset, if you have a little bit of anger, well, instantly these walls are going to come up in them. So the point is where they're going to deny things, they're going to lie, but you don't get extra triggered, don't get extra frustrated, don't jump on top of them. Actually, let them open the doors to you. Let them come to you. Let silence be your best friend in this regard. Again, I just want to emphasize there, the more emotions that you have, the more intensity, the more sadness, the more anger, just the more they're going to shut down unconsciously around it. They're not going to deliberately go out there to hurt you. You're the loved one. You're a person that's helping them. And no addict deliberately wanted to be an addict. Yeah, they didn't set up their life to where this is where they wanted to be in the moment. So to be angry and frustrated at them are only going to shut it down. The questions that you're given, they can be loving questions in some way. They can be open questions. They don't have to be so attacking. Which again, the addict will feel like they're being attacked. And that's where they'll shut down a lot. So maybe setting some foundations for the conversation. Say, hey, look, I really just want to understand your situation. Let's go back to point one. I am in no judgment. I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to shame you. I don't want to guilt you. And even then, they'll still probably lie to you, to be honest. But it's okay. When you come in, at least you'll have some data, some help, and some situation. Let's go on to number three. I'm going to interject a micro point or a mini point on this. And there's this kind of weird phenomenon that goes on of where, is someone ready? And this is a question that I wish I could answer for you. Is someone ready? That also leans into level number three here. When we talk about accountability, how do we know someone's ready? Well, are they open to doing such things like this, for example? Going to see someone, maybe potentially going to rehab, or taking even drug tests in some way, shape, or form. I am not a rehab facility, but if I have a partner, aka a loved one, a family member that I can communicate with, it helps increase the likelihood of success. What do I mean by that? Well, imagine you being the loved one, and I suggest, me as an addiction therapist, that you go get some sort of drug testing kit. That drug testing kit is going to be very useful between me and you to communicate. Because the addict, if I just know John, and I don't know John and Mary together, if I just know John, I've actually got a problem, because John can keep lying to me. And that's normal as well, but they don't lie as much, quote unquote, because they're in a safer environment, there's no judgment, etc. So now if I have Mary to verify John's truth, now we've got a harmonious success growth. We've got a harmonious change that's happening. So how we know someone's quote unquote not ready is if they're rescheduling sessions all the time, and this is any type of reasoning. The kids get sick, they have their holidays, they have a wedding. All of those reasons are still valid reasons for someone's quote unquote not ready. There's a birthday coming up, it's Christmas time, there's a holiday, etc., 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 etc. It's not that you absolutely need to attend every single meeting every minute, but the point is, if you constantly reschedule, that's showing an indicator that they're quote unquote not ready, quote unquote, whatever that means, not ready. So they're rescheduling. If they're lying or they say, I don't need a test, I'm done, it's finished, I don't need a test, whatever, and then they create arguments in that. That would be a key indicator where they don't want to take the test. Why wouldn't they want to take the test? It's unbelievable, right? It's a key indicator. So we talk about accountability in this section here, of where there's a harmonious pathway between me, you, and me and the addict, and you and the addict. So we're actually coming together as a team, and that's when we know that person wants to change, when they're on board with the team. There will be failures, and I'll put that in now for the number 4 is this element of where clients will fail. They literally will. I've never had a coke user from day one go from day one to zero. I've only had a alcoholic user who has not drinking from day one onwards. I haven't had it with cocaine. If that is the substance use that your loved one is using, the likelihood is they're going to use within a week, within 2, within 3. After a couple of weeks, they will get stronger if, again, they're all on board, they're working with us, they're communicating, they're talking, they're texting, they're engaged, they're being honest, etc. I wish I could predict. I can predict what thoughts they're going to have. I can predict what maybe behaviors they're going to have on a week, like let's say Friday evening. I cannot predict random situations that happen. I cannot predict an old friend texting them, an old friend coming back in town. There's something terrible happens in their life, or they just get all of this money magically, they win on the lottery, and then boom, it's so random to where what triggers them off to go back using. So in the first couple of weeks, expect a couple of fails. That's not a big or bad world. What's a problem is like the first 1 or 2, 3 weeks is okay if they fail. It's not okay if they're failing 6, 7, 8 weeks, just consistently week in, week out, day in, day out in 6, 7, 8 weeks. And that's how much time it might take for you to really start seeing some change. So that the emphasis is on you here. The idea is that the first couple of weeks, be very lenient, very supportive, very, what could you have done differently? How would you have done differently? Very curious questions, not like, oh, you should do this. This is, oh my God, why did you go out to that person? That's not helpful. That's only creating more shame, more guilt, more, you're just hurting them more. So in that element, be curious, be hopeful, be optimistic, be generous, be very gentle with them very early on. But then as time goes on, we do need to actually create some more boundaries. A 6, 7, 8 weeks approach is give or take those time where they're starting to get more weeks of sobriety. Again, we cannot predict. I can predict earlier on they're gonna use. I can predict in a couple of weeks where the random things happen. That's very, very sporadic. We don't want them to happen. They can happen. So after a good few weeks, that now we are actually creating a few boundaries. Now we actually are creating a few standards. Now we are reminding them of what's worked. So they might be going like, oh yeah, no, I used to go out with John. John used to always use, but John says he's sober now, and I'm sober 4 weeks now, so I'm gonna go out with John. And it's like, hold on a second. Did you talk with Gary about that? Do you think that's a good idea? Maybe it's not. Maybe we should go do something else together. Now we're being a little bit more stricter of what we're actually going to do. If their plan is just to go to the pub after a couple of weeks to start drinking a few casuals, you've probably got a few problems in a couple of weekends ahead. It might be good for 1 week, might be good for 2, but 3 or 4 weekends of just drinking, he's probably going to go back using. So that 4 point, they will likely fail. Be very gentle early on. Start slowly creating boundaries as time goes on. You can use that with me. You can use that with someone else in terms of understanding what those are. Creating some plans together as a team as those weeks goes on. You should all be in harmonious patterns together where we're all on the same page. We're all growing and developing at the same page. Again, doesn't guarantee we're going to be successful first time, second time, but we have much more likelihood if we're not on the if we're on the same page, then we're off the same page. So that's the 4th one. Let's get into the last one, 5th and last. Number 5 is don't forget about yourself. What that means is maybe it is a good idea for you to go get help in some way, shape, or form. It's not because you want to shame and guilt and regret and say this person's really bad in your life. No, that's not what it's useful for. What it's useful for is for you to say how are you doing and what's your own boundaries and create your own standards. What would be terrible is that your partner who is using or your loved one who's using is saying like you're the worst person in the world. This is normal in addiction. I'd be better off if I never knew you. These type of sentences would be better off, like a normal for addicts to say. But this is again why for you to work through that and realize that they're not so much aimed at you. They're not in the right frame of mind at all. and they're saying such things. So don't be so hurtful on yourself, and don't be questioning, querying, and your life revolving around them. Again, focus on you. Don't be questioning, querying, are they lying? What's going on? Or don't be worrying so much. Worry, not so much. Curious, not too much. If you keep seeking, you're probably going to find. So just calm on yourself. Be content on yourself. Grow yourself. Be okay with yourself. Get support with those around you, your family, your friends. Maybe I did mention one maybe for number 2 here, where you're having this almost accountability of drug testing, etc. Another good useful thing is like AA rooms, CA rooms, NA rooms. The point being that people are on a shared value, and it's not a forceful thing that they need to do. I don't force people to take drug testing kits, and I don't force people to go do these meetings if they really, really don't want to, but they are, if someone's content with doing them. They are very healthy. So consider doing that over the upcoming time. Look, I'm Gary, best-selling author, an ex-addict, and addiction therapist. I'm very grateful to have helped over 100 people become sober, and including myself. If you want help for that loved one, you can reach out. Click the link in my bio for GaryTheExpert.com. Find me on Instagram, find me on all social medias. There is help available. Recovery is possible. There's many, many people to have, and your partner or a friend or loved one can too. So I look forward to seeing you next episode. I appreciate you, and good luck